All aboard.
Welcome to Monday night.
Train is in the station.
Oh,
here.
yes, it is.
Hello.
Steam powered for your enjoyment.
I always struggle to find just the right volume for the music, so where it's like I can still hear it, but it's
I can't
not
believe you
overwhelming.
listen to music while we do this. I could never do that. Like I could never do that. I need full focus on Brandon Valentine saying you're
to start off the week with episode 237 of Snakes and Stogies. Here we are, brought to you by Black Box Cages. Follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, shop around at blackboxcages.com, find a rack, find a cage, find both. Use code THN25 at checkout and get a little discount. And then if you want to double down on savings, there's a pickup option at checkout. You can drive on up to North Georgia, get your stuff, see the operation, meet the gang, all that, and then take your goods home and watch them last forever because their quality is unmatched. Legitimately.
Paramount.
And then you decide that your shirts need an updating, your wardrobe needs an updating. Then you pop on over to Fulvius Apparel, fulviusapparel.com, and get yourself a shirt or a hat or a hoodie if maybe you're living in a part of the country that still gets cold weather this time of year. I don't know. Use the code THN at checkout. Get 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. That code does not get posted anywhere else. So when people use it, I know people are listening.
It's pretty awesome.
And I actually see a lot of people place orders that I don't see in our chats on a weekly basis.
That's even better.
Which is cool.
That's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Keep that up. Had the fortune over the weekend of seeing that another like scam site, I don't know if it's Chinese or not or whatever, decided to take the mouse mug art and steal it and sell it on their site. And of course, I had a lot of people come out of the woodwork to go and like pipe up on the post because it was in a ball python group or something. And of course, anyone that piped up and was like, "Hey, this is stolen," got blocked. So it's it's fun. That's now the like 5th or 6th website I think to do something like that. And I don't know if people order through that. I don't know if they even get a mug. Like I don't know if they're straight up just taking people's money and just not sending out the product.
Yeah.
Or if the print quality is absolute garbage, because if they're stealing that art, they're stealing it like from a picture of the art from one of the mock-ups. Like I don't have the actual art posted anywhere to where someone could just pull it. So the quality that they're using, I'm assuming, is really low resolution and straight garbage. So I don't know, and unfortunately, we can't tell everyone that it's illegitimate, and who knows? We'll see. But
well, I mean, I get the same thing with my work, and they literally take our photos with our watermarks, and use them, and people will call up my store and be like, "Hey, man. You have 2 websites, and why is one, $100 cheaper than the other?"
Right.
No, we don't.
And I mean, it's one of those things like I don't really get pissed about it. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Because pretty much if you're doing anything, be it photography, and I know Zach Hers fought this a lot because he's had a lot of his stuff, like the charts of isopods that he did and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He had people, similar sites, take that and sell rugs and hoodies and things like that with art that still had his watermark on it and everything. And I chalk it up to like, if you're going to put something on the internet, be prepared for it to be stolen. Cause I mean, you just gotta, unfortunately it's part of the game at this point, and whatever. I just hope the people that are paying for it on those sites are actually getting something and not getting completely scammed and ripped off. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's a shame.
Not going to be able to catch them all. Not going to really make any serious attempt to like hunt the people down because they're probably not even in this country. So what's the point? Not going to waste the time, money, and resources. over something like that. And like Kasicki said, it's a sign of your success. And I think that's how you know you have a good design, because that many Chinese whatever AI websites are willing to steal it, then it must be good. So I actually did. Brandon Valentine should have posted the actual link in the post, and I did, but I'm sure they deleted it because I got blocked.
So it was a ball python group or chat. Or
the admins
and
of the group posted this link.
So then clearly they're in on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but according to a couple people, like that whole group, pretty much all the admins are some sort of scam page or something, but there has to be an actual human behind it somewhere.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's the whole thing's very strange.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Whatever. There's only one Wolvies Apparel.
There is.
But hey, it is what it is. You know what can't be replicated, can't be copied? The Snakes and Stogies blended cold-blooded caffeine.
That's very true. Very true.
That's one thing the scammers and robots can't get their hands on, is that blend of coffee from Mexico and Rwanda, and they can't put it into one bag like that, and they can't make it as good, if at all.
If at all.
As Trey and McKendrick make it over at Cold Blooded Caffeine. If you use that code SMOKE at checkout, you get like 10% off. And then me and Phil get a little something. So everybody wins. They donate a portion of each sale to the Rainforest Alliance. So it's really like fourfold that you're helping the Rainforest, helping Trey and McKendrick, helping us.
Blood, sweat, and urates.
Helping yourself. There you go. Blood, sweat, and urates. And that should be a shirt too.
Yep, there you go.
I'm going to make it, and then it can be stolen.
Do it.
No, but that's like legitimately like why even on Instagram and stuff and Facebook, like I very rarely, if ever, post the actual picture of the graphic so people can see it better. It's almost always going to be posted on a mock-up of some sort, so that it's that much harder for someone to steal that off of the images. Because I also keep them fairly low resolution when I post them online, so that when they go to download it, if they try and pull it, it's gonna they're gonna work for it. Damn it! If they want it, they're gonna have to put in some effort. So we'll see.
Yeah, man.
You're not getting me any more than you already have. It's been pretty wet here.
Oh yeah, it's been a legitimate disgusting swamp by me.
We had like borderline tropical storm levels of rain this morning and wind, and
yeah, you got like the real storm. I got just like the yuck behind it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just the yuck. I know Jacksonville got flooded out, and you got flooded out, and Savannah got flooded out, and then I got like the tail end of it. It was just yucky, you know, just drizzling and a temperature drop, which was nice. I mean, it's 78 right now. It was like 75 earlier. But just out of curiosity, I was obviously up in the desert room, just kind of make sure everything is not weird with humidity and stuff. But I was checking outside. All right, so right now it's 78 degrees outside where I am sitting, and it is 86% humidity. And I got at least 2.5 inches in the last 24 hours. Expected another 2 inches in the next 24 hours. We got like a lull right now.
Kelly's on it.
Yeah, right. 86% humidity outside and 78 degrees. Okay. In the snake room, the desert room, it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit and 48% humidity. So it rose a good 6 to 8% from yesterday, like through this rain. But I'm really happy that like I'm still keeping it below 50 to the best of my ability, because it's 86% outside. So yeah, it is actually so humid that I brought my cigar outside. I laid it on the ashtray. And
how long did you leave it sitting there?
Maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And when I picked it up, you could feel it had already absorbed moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yep.
How humid it is outside.
And that's why you can't really light one up and smoke it and smoke half of it, put it down, come back to it later. Especially
you can't if you bring it inside.
If you bring it inside, like if you leave it in your car, so like sometimes I'll smoke half of one on my way home from work or something, and I won't bring it inside, like in the garage or anything. I'll just leave it in my car, and it keeps pretty well. But like if you leave it outside on your porch or something and come back to it, even like an hour later, it's done. It tastes terrible. It immediately just sponges up every bit of moisture.
That's a great term, sponges up.
It's gross. So
yeah. Well, what are you smoking tonight, Bubba?
Punch Classico.
Nice, dude. I haven't had a punch in forever.
So one of the gas stations down the road from the house started carrying these and some just not Monte Cristos, Macanudos, and these little punches are actually pretty good. So I went down there and grabbed 2 of them.
Which punch is it again?
Just the Classico.
And it's in a Corona?
This is a Robusto, I believe. It's kind of long for a Robusto. At least it seems that way to me. I don't know. Could be an optical illusion.
An optical illusion. So, do you want me to try and find on Cigar Scanner?
Yeah.
And then you can. All right. So I typed in punch and I tried to type in Classico and it did not come up at all. But I just typed in punch and now I'm scrolling.
Classico spelled with 1 S, if that makes a difference.
Okay, that's why. Classico.
Does it have to be like verbatim?
It has to be verbatim. Yeah. Yeah, it's not coming up. Interesting. Let's just type in classic with 1 S. Nope.
Even if you just look up punch?
Yeah, but it gives me like 50 cigars. Okay, let's scroll through them. So for those listening, I'm using the Cigar Scanner app. I'm a huge fan of Cigar Scanner app. It is basically a cataloging app. It's completely free to download. It's on iOS, it's on Android, whatever you need. You can actually open it on a real desktop. It used to be an actual app, and I think something happened and it just got crappy and crashed. So now you basically make a pseudo app on the desktop of your phone, and then when you jump in, it's automatically
like a web link kind of
it's
thing.
like a web link
like
to
how Morph Market used to be.
Correct. How Morph Market exactly. But what it allows you to do is allows you to keep a journal with your own notes, and it has, I think, like 250,000 different cigars with all the tech data, the stats.
It's hilarious, except for a Punch Classico, which is like one of the most common, easy to find cigars.
I'm wondering if it's in here as something else. I wish you could do it by part number or like UPC, because that would be really specific. But I don't know if some of these even have that kind of, SKU, UPC kind of coding. But I love it because you can do your wish list of what you'd like to try in the future. You can do your journal, in which case you add your own notes, add your own rating that's just for you, as well as a public rating. There is a social media aspect that I never use. And then they also have like your favorites list. So if there was one that I remember really, really liking, I can add that to my favorites, and it's not just in my journal of stuff I've enjoyed already.
Dear diary.
Yeah, dude, I'm losing it that there's no Classico in here.
That's hilarious to me.
Crazy. I mean, I'm literally scrolling punch after punch after punch.
It's like doing like one of the beer apps or something, and like Bud Light or Miller High Life doesn't show up.
Legit, man. Like you open up the craft beer app and Corona's not in it,
The one beer you should be able to find anywhere,
right?
At any point.
And like I'm envisioning the wrapper in my brain, like I see it in my mind, and I'm just scrolling through these, not finding it. And you think it'd be alphabetical too.
Well, the A has a little accent over it too, if that matters. I don't know how verbatim we're getting, but can you? It
has a let me see. Class.
There you go. It's focused.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Not a tilde, but another.
No,
that's dumb that you would have to put it in verbatim like that just to get it.
Yeah, done. I don't think you do. I think for whatever reason, I bet you it's called something else. Let me go on just a regular web browser. Hold on. Punch Classico. Cigar scanner. Was I spelling Classico wrong? Tell me I'm spelling it freaking wrong. Classico.
One S.
No.
C-L.
Yeah.
A with an X on S-I-C-O.
Yeah, I'm not spelling it wrong. Okay. Well, I will read it off. Yes, I'm 21 website. I will read it off of the Punch website because Cigar Scanner has failed me after I touted them in such high esteem. It is an Ecuadorian Sumatran wrapper. The binder is a Connecticut broadleaf. The filler is Honduran, Nicaraguan, Dominican, Piloto Cubano. Wow, they have beer pairing as a Belgian ale. Actually, sounds pretty good.
I can see that.
I can definitely see that.
I can see it working with that.
Yeah. That's literally all the information. Oh, here it is. Renowned for its bold, full-flavored taste, Clásico sets the standard for all Punch cigars. Made following the Honduran tradition of expertly cured tobacco, Clásico is a fantastic example of everything Punch has to offer. Is that not?
I don't really consider them to be strong or really like full.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think they're actually very pleasantly medium.
Yeah, I would go the same way, especially with the Connecticut broadleaf binder. Like it's like a good middle of the road.
That gives it that little bit of edge.
Yeah. Cigar Aficionado gave it a 93, which I thought was kind of shocking.
It's a good cigar.
Yeah, no, it's a great cigar. It's a classic.
I think Walgreens even carries them at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. And then it's Cigar Aficionado top 25, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that? What's your first impressions of a cigar you smoked a million times?
It's a good one when I need something in a pinch because the shop is closed or I just don't feel like driving across the bridge to go. If I want to drive 5 minutes rather than 10 minutes, it's nice to know that I can jet down to my local Parker's and grab one.
That's good.
I'm hoping, I don't know if they ordered these like by accident and so they're selling once they sell them out, they're done with them, or if if me buying them will show them that they're selling and they'll bring in more. But
what do they sell for?
I think like $70.
I would say like $8.75, something like that. Okay.
So, what about you?
Tonight I am enjoying the Alec and Bradley Gatekeeper.
Oh,
yeah! Look at that.
One of the coolest labels.
Yeah, let me wipe off my camera because it's so humidity packed out here. But check that out. So it's got the like Roman bust with the gold leaf attached to it.
It's blood. It's like a headless.
It's like a headless
and holding the head.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what I do love about this too is that it's a double band that goes on top of itself, which I think is super cool. The Gatekeeper. Schfancy. Cigar Scanner puts it as a 4.8, which out of 5, which I think is awesome. Cigar Scanner says anywhere from $10 to $15 a stick. I think I paid like 11 and change. $200 a box to $350 a box, depending on where you are. The Alec and Bradley Gatekeeper is a medium strength cigar that is handmade in Honduras. The Gatekeeper sports a dark, sweet Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper over a Nicaraguan binder and long filler tobaccos from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The Alec and Bradley Gatekeeper has a flavor profile that hints of nuts and cedar. Now, I've had this cigar probably 2 or 3 times before in a Corona, in a 5.5 by 42 or 5 5/8 or I never got nuts or cedar out of it, but I always get cocoa. And like everyone's like, it has a hint of milk chocolate. Like, okay, you're full of crap. No, this one actually, to me at least, when I bust open that cellophane, I get hints of cocoa and actual like coca. When you open a packet of Swiss Miss. And like it's like powdered hot chocolate. Like I get that whiff of powdered hot chocolate, which is delicious to me. And it's not a flavored cigar. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna light this up right now. Excuse me.
Do it. Look at him just going for it. Let's see. Is it lit all the way? It looks like it. Look at that. Like a pro.
I've done it a few times.
Once or twice.
Look at it. It's not all the way lit.
There's one.
It'll fix itself.
Maybe.
You know what?
I don't know. We'll see. Touch it up.
Yeah, let me touch it up a little bit.
So just touch it up a little bit. Every time you think that it's not going to cause problems, that's when it does. And then the ones that you think are going to be a nightmare are the ones that actually even out. So,
yeah. We're in full disco.
There you go. Yeah, those apps are handy if you're sort of getting into cigars, especially, or maybe you travel a lot and so you don't really keep your bands or anything. It's just nice to have, so that how many people I would have come into the shop that were like, I smoked a cigar last year and I don't remember what it was, but it was so good. And I was like, what did the band look like? And they'd usually say something like, it was red. And I'm like, that doesn't narrow it down whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And they do their best. I was like, was there anything on it? Was there like a topless lady on it? Was there a head being held by a golden hand? Like,
yeah, right.
And they do their best. And a lot of times it was like, yeah, I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you. But yeah. So apps like that are nifty. So you can keep track of that stuff, especially if you have the way to sort them into favorites and things like that. It's really handy.
Yeah,
my scanner is my brain.
Yeah, and I tried to do just in my brain. And don't get me wrong, my favorite cigars are always going to be my favorite cigars. When you get a cigar that is just legitimately memorable, you don't need to remember and write it down and right. a note, or like, you just know you've learned it from it.
Remember, it'll stick with you.
Right. It was a memorable smoke. But then there's some that, like, I was like, man, that was really good. I got to remember to get that again. And so for me, in all of my space cadetness, dude, my cigar scanner is awesome. And I'm stupid because I went almost a year and a half, almost 2 years without using it at all. And so, like, as of right now, I've only got like 100. I have 107 smokes in my journal, and I probably have at least 20 or 30 more than I never logged because I just wasn't paying attention. So, and it's free, so like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but what's that?
I was gonna say, what's new? Let's do updates and stuff, if anything.
Yeah. I upgraded from 19 quarts to 30 quarts. Only certain species. I bought those tubs. I don't know if did I mention this last week? I bought tubs. Okay.
The container stores.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about my 30 quart tubs. I started to play with Exoterra's new rock. What the hell do they call it? It's basically clay that they've pebbled up into stone and rock and mixed it in with their super fine calc sand.
Mm-hmm.
And this stuff is so freaking cool, man.
Really?
I took some pictures and stuff. I should probably send them to you, seeing as how we have a live show with visuals. And I did my one adult Marolus, I did the baby Marolus, and I did the 3 juvenile puff adders. So I still got to do the clobs. I still got to do some copperheads, and I think I'm gonna do the sabox on a similar mix. Let me send you photos. Man, I have not been on Facebook in a minute, and
ain't nothing changed.
I know. Well, no, I meant like Messenger. All right, sending you some pictures. Obviously, you'll see what order they go in, and then I will send you some puff adder action as well. And you know me and dirt, man. I love some good dirt. So there you have the yellow. I think that is Eco Earth. So that's just a bricky Eco Earth that I hydrated and ripped up and kind of let dry a little bit, just to give some humidity and some earthiness to it. The bag in the top right corner is cork rounds, like the round tubular pieces of cork that you buy from Petra, that I put in a bag and crushed with a hammer and my hands, and just to kind of make some cork shredding cork bits. The sand in the middle that's gray color is the new Exoterra. I can't remember what the hell it's called, man. Now I feel like a moron. I'm trying to rep the stuff, and hold on. Why, there we go. Send that to you. Exoterra sand stone. Oh, okay. So it's called Stone Desert. Excuse me. Exoterra Stone Desert. So the gray one in the middle is, what are they calling that? They're calling that Baharia. And then the yellower one is, what are they calling that? Sonoran Ochre.
Oh.
And then the pebbles in the bottom right corner, those are actually just bio balls for a fish tank. I like putting the bio balls in there because they're ceramic and they do absorb moisture. So I take those 5 things and just equal portion. The gray sand, I do a little less just because it's so pigmented that it kind of takes over the other colors. But you can see the stones in there. And then I just fluff it with my hands and just mix it all up. And it turns into that.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and there's a adult marulus. Put some pine cones in there. I wanted to add pine needles, but I keep forgetting to go get them.
Little African murder slug.
Oh yeah, murder slugs in the long grass. Murder slugs in the long grass. So that right there, instead of doing the yellow ochre, I did the red, which is, what do they call the red? The red is
Kalahari Killer.
Outback Red. Okay. So there you go. Outback Red. And it comes out great, man. It really does.
I feel like I went backwards in that whole transition there.
You did. You did the final product first and then went back in time. And that grass there is actually fake grass from Hobby Lobby that I plucked out of the foam, decor.
Yeah.
And I drill holes in cork flat and just stuff it in there. I tried to use black aquarium sealant, but the problem is it doesn't really hold stuff well at all. And
really?
And I've had it where snakes would like slither over it and it would peel, or like they would rub on it to shed their skin, and
just use hot glue.
Yeah, but that makes sense. I didn't think of that. So, but I mean, at least this way there's no glue in there. That's literally just the silk plant in cork. So
that's a nice little puff, boy.
I thank you.
Look at
that.
Is little cherub.
Yeah, I think that's the Cape male. Let me send you the Namibian female. Stand by.
Look at the mole in the meantime. So I used to use these hides when I kept my first copperhead, and I did a trick that Al Koritz mentioned years ago, and I drilled 2 holes in it and then looped a zip tie in it so that I could lift it out with a hook. And that was a really handy, nifty trick.
Yeah, I actually I do that on these tubs. I do it through the lid of the tub at an angle so that I can still stack them, and I have the zip tie right around it so I can literally lift it with hemostats or a snake hook and not have to be hands on with these, death noodles. So yeah, that's the quote unquote Namibian German line.
Nice.
Yes, good. But yeah, other than that, man, status quo. Just playing with dirt. You know how we do.
Dirty man.
And yourself?
I really don't have anything new to report. I thought that my guppies was a male and like 3 females, and I'm almost positive they're all males. So that's
not going to work for you.
Something. It's not going to work for me. And if I get females, I'm going to have to get at least 3 or 4 females, because if I put 2 females in there, they're going to be toast, because those males are just going to try and breed the hell out of them until they roll. So
just bum rush them.
Yeah. But nothing new. This one of the Ladies Island corns, I believe, is gravid.
Cool.
I need to get a meal in them. So my dad has 2 Alterna and a corn I gave him a couple years ago. He's getting out again, so I'm gonna get his Alterna and his corn.
What are the locality on the Alterna?
One of them is just a generic from Tony D, and then honestly, the other one I don't remember. I'd have to ask him again, but don't know what I'm gonna do yet. The corn, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the corn, because first I can't remember if it's one of the ones that's het ghost or not, and it is morbidly obese.
Really?
So I'm going to first order businesses to stop feeding it for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
And I think it's a male too. So if it were a female, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just, we'll pair it and hopefully it'll drop some poundage that way. But it's a male, so he gonna get put on a pretty hardcore diet. So
yeah,
he's a little chunky.
He'd be good.
Dad was feeding the way they fed in the late 90s. So power feeding.
Oh, I know the snake.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else really going on.
Okay.
I was eyeballing some Conicus on Morph Market.
Really?
I'm thinking I want another female. I want an older female though. I don't want a yearling. Funny thing is about that, turns out
you love dirt snakes.
The reason you don't see adult female Conicus is because no one's ever parting with adult female Conicus.
I mean, I could have told you that.
And really, I mean, even adult males are fairly infrequent. It's almost all yearlings or younger. So that's I've been keeping an eye out. I still have that male, that adult male that I have still is not eaten. It's been over a year.
Really?
Since it's eaten. Yeah.
Have you weighed it?
No, but it doesn't look any different. Doesn't look like it's lost a gram.
Okay.
It's wild, man. And I got it.
Do you think it's a wild caught animal?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I got it March of last year. And I don't know how long it was. I know it ate for Kai when he had it. And then I got it, and it is just completely refused food of any kind. Doesn't matter if it's live, it's frozen, doesn't matter what size it is, whether it's a mouse or a rat.
What was he feeding it?
I think he was feeding it live fuzzies is what he told me. And I tried that and got nothing out of it. So I'm like, okay,
really?
Whatever, he'll eat when he wants to eat, but crazy.
Yeah, man, that's wild.
Things run on nothing.
Well, forgive me if I've already mentioned this on air, but I have a male Wild Rose Pass Subak from Rob Nemo, and when I got it, he told me flat out, he's like, look, man, this thing only eats alive, just FYI. I was like, that's no problem. Half my stuff I feed live anyway. And I fed it live and it ate, and that was it. And then I tried to feed it frozen thawed, and it didn't want nothing to do with it. I drop fed it 1 week, and then it didn't eat after a day, so I gave it a live thing and it ate. And then next week I tried to marionette it, and same thing, he didn't want nothing to do with it, so I gave it a live and it ate. Well, last week, or maybe even the week before, I marionetted it on a frozen thawed, and I got him to chase it, and he took it. So I tried again this week, did it again. I'm like, oh, rock and roll.
I think part of the problem is with the male in particular. Like, I mean, I guess with the Conicus in general, because even one of the babies I have is juveniles that I have is still kind of finicky. Like, eats infrequently, still eats, but just doesn't eat every time I offer it. Like two of the the other two do out of that three.
Right.
And part of it with that adult male, I think, is like if I try to take him out, like pull him out of the substrate to put him on top of it to offer him food, immediately he's like
defensive,
doesn't like it, wants nothing to do with it, will strike and hit the snot out of whatever it is I'm offering him, but will not actually grab it and hold on to it. But even then, like with Sambos, it's kind of funny. It's pretty obvious usually when they're hungry because they sit there and you can see their face just sitting there at the surface, just waiting.
Like Cerastes.
Yeah, just like Cerastes.
Yeah.
And the few times that I've tried it, even when he was sitting there in ambush, so I don't think it's necessarily that he's not hungry. I think he would eat if all the stars were aligned correctly.
How often did Kai feed him?
I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think it was that often.
I would ask him. Because if it was at once every 6 to 9 months, then maybe that's it.
No, it wasn't that infrequent. But like even after talking when we had Rob from Boa Eric's on,
right.
And I've asked him even before we had him on the show, like, should I be concerned? And his response is like, no. He's like, males eat maybe 3 months out of the year. And again, like this thing hasn't dropped any sort of weight, so I'm not that worried about it. If I started seeing him dropping weight like crazy, I'd be much more concerned to the point where like, okay, it's time to intervene and get a little more serious, maybe do assist feeding or something, which I feel like would probably only set it back more. But we'll see. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. I need to get another mouse colony going. So I can have some live stuff again, but we'll see what happens. The younger ones, like the small ones, I'll just drop feed. I'll put, something frozen thawed on I take the deli cup lids that I use from Dollar Tree, and I use those as little plates. And I'll put them in there, and usually by morning they're gone. So
nice.
That's if I don't pull them out, same thing. Like if I pull them out from the sub and set them on top, and then just put that mouse like in front of them, usually they'll whack it and wrap it, and I'll put them back and they'll eat. But
have you thought about making a prison feed door? Try to say that 5 times fast.
No.
In prison they have like that little slider door, and they slide the
slot.
Mail slot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen where guys who had snakes that were very finicky in tubs, they would not eat because the tub was slid open and they were jostled. So what they did was they took obviously this only works on juvenile snakes, but you cut a slot in the front of the tub and you put a big piece of painter's tape or masking tape or something that the snake can't push open, right? Some guys even do like a piece of plastic that covers it, that is velcroed on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give it a few days, if not a week, for it to settle. And then you just open that door, toss in a live fuzzy, and close the door. And that way the whole tub hasn't jostled.
I haven't done anything like that, but like with some Bairds that are nervous feeders, really shy feeders, the Andean milks.
Yeah.
Like those usually it's a get in, get out, like drop it and put it back, and
they just like crack it, like, stuff a fuzzy in and close it.
I mean, not even necessarily crack it, but like definitely don't go look for them and find out where they are. Like, don't any interaction with them, like none. It's literally just take it, drop that mouse in, put the lid back on, put it back where the tub was.
Okay.
And then usually I found that if you do that, they'll take on their own overnight or something, but nothing so sensitive that, if I open the tub that it all bets are off, and that kind of thing. So,
yeah. Okay.
But other than that, it's the usual.
When do you get the Alterna and the chubby corn?
I don't know. I was supposed to go get them today, but yesterday. And with it being Mother's Day and all, I just didn't happen. So I don't know. I got to. The corn is in like one of the bigger exoteras.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, I don't want to get rid of that because I have a feeling eventually I would use it for something.
Yeah, something.
But I also don't have anywhere to put it here. And then one of the alternatives in one of those shallower creature den zoom ed cages, the tall, like they're, I don't know how many gallons they are, but like the flatter ones.
Yeah, the breeder boxes from Exoterra,
something like that.
The black lid. It's like a nicer, denser plastic.
It's got a sliding screen top.
Oh, okay.
It's what I have my rose hair in one.
Okay, it's like a 10-gallon short.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's even 10 gallons, but if I get that, I'd end up converting that over, and that'd be something for one of the brachypelma or something.
Cool.
Just because it's a nice height where if they do climb on the mesh for whatever reason, which is yet to happen with my rose hair, like if they fall, it's not several inches. It's it's minimal, but
yeah.
And then the other one's just like one of the nano Exoterras that, again, I wouldn't want to get rid of it, but
something to put in the garage for a rainy day.
Yeah, it's a dart frog or something.
Oh yeah. Right on your little island between your dining room and your kitchen, that little windowsill that's right there.
Yeah,
I remember.
Wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
I don't know.
Just be like, babe, we're not using that windowsill.
I really want to set up like a pair of rhinos in like the living room or something, but
I don't know, man. I feel like rhinos is a
go Valentine. Now we're talking.
Yeah, dude. Strokes in the living room.
I love, dude.
My man.
Is the nano? That nano would be kind of small though for adults.
It would. But it'd be fine for some Pamilio.
I don't know. I'd probably put like a pair of Vanzolini in there or something if I was gonna do.
Oh, geez,
and that's a little small for them, honestly.
Underground has a dart frog display that they used to sell dart frogs out of. Now they just keep it as like a representation of what you could do at home and like how they'll help you set it up. And I guess a local guy bred the orange with dark blue spot Uafega. And now I can't remember. It might be Pamilio. It might be a Pamilio locality. But dude, they are so cool, and they do not. It probably is, and they will not stop calling and chirping, and it's adorable.
Yeah,
adorable. And like it just goes to show you the difference between a legitimate captive bred specimen and stuff that was wild caught.
Mm-hmm.
Just
dude, it's
incredible specimens.
Eventually, when maybe we get a bigger house or something down the road, if I have the space to get back into darts, I want to, because I enjoyed that so much, and it was really tough when I decided to part with all those tanks and stuff just due to space and whatnot. And I don't know, like frankly, I'm at a point right now where I feel I need to slim down considerably on corns and stuff, not the rhinos, not chondros or anything like that, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm just like, I just don't have the burn for.
Yeah, it's all right to trim the fat a little bit.
It would be pretty substantial, but it's also because like Fulvia stuff keeps me busy. Like I have the laser engraving business as like a subsidiary of Fulvius that I do locally. That's also been taking up a ton of time because like I pretty much come home from work and I usually have some sort of job or something to do with that. So it's like I'll hang out for 10 or 15 minutes and then I'm in the garage working for another couple hours. So it's also been sort of a time thing too. But I don't know, when all the spiders and stuff too have definitely captured more of my attention, lately and stuff. So
I'm with you.
It's a weird time, but I don't know.
Speaking of which, I got 3 perfect little molts out of my Parabuthus transvolicus. They have, I don't want to say hardened up nicely, for lack of a better word. And dude, it's amazing how fast they are.
Yeah, dude, they're quick.
They are so fast. And
those margaritatis I have, when they move, like they move. I'm like, good God.
And it makes you wonder if adults are basically like us, where when we were kids, we had unlimited stamina, we rarely sweat, we were just running around like crazy all the time. And then as we get older, we get a little more tired, get a little more lazy. And it makes you wonder if like that's the same thing with the scorpions and the spiders.
No, man. I think when they're small like that, it takes less resources as far as heat and stuff to get them energized to move.
Yeah. I just don't
faster.
I don't recall I just don't recall an adult pair of boots that's ever hauling ass like that.
I don't know, dude. Mine
like these things do laps, man.
I don't know.
Like centipede speed laps. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had another one of my margaritatis molted, and it's like nearing small adult size, and I gotta bump it up too. I have a couple that I have to move into bigger setups now because they seem like they were kind of stalling for a while as far as growth and whatnot, but just within the last couple of weeks, man, they've been like they hit the gas.
What like marker? You're in like 5th or 6th shed?
These ones probably looking at like 4th or 5th instar.
Okay.
So they're getting there.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's great. Are you gonna keep them communal the way they are? Just keep sizes together, or are you gonna
No. So that's one species of Centroides that does not do well communally. I don't know why. That's one thing about Centroides that I find really interesting is you have species like Gracilis and Sculpturatus that do phenomenally in communal setups and do great. And then you have a couple of those Central American species that are just the complete opposite, to where it's like maybe you could keep a pair together, but even then I'd probably be a little nervous.
You might have plenty of space for them to get away from each other, you know?
Yeah. So we'll see, but I'm planning on pairing them as once they get mature and enough size. I'm almost positive I have a pair in that mix somewhere. So,
all right, nice.
One of the ones that just molted, like the biggest one currently of the group that just molted, looks female. You know, cool. Really nice bulbous palps and
nice,
shorter, sort of stouter frame and things like that. So I'm pretty sure that's a female. And then, you know, statistically out of the other 3, there's likely to be a male in that group. So we'll see. But I like them. I like them a lot.
Yeah, man, they're awesome bugs. Awesome bugs.
Like a group of like Gracilis or Sculpturatus for the communal aspect of them again, just because that's really cool. Sculpturatus is a little sketchier just because they are more potent, but
yeah,
they're also like half the size of Gracilis in terms of adult size. So
okay,
kind of a trade-off there, but I like the communal setups. I think it's really cool to see them do their thing, and it's no surprise that the species that are usually on the pest control lists in their various states and stuff are the ones that are the most communal and
yeah, right,
most exponential in terms of reproduction. So.
Yeah, not to mention the most hardy in terms of urban expansion. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I just saw let me pull it up. So there's a really good Instagram account for anybody interested in inverts, mostly arachnids.
I'm opening my phone as well.
Let me see if I could spell. That'd be great. No. Damn it. Let me just search through messages because I've talked to them multiple times. It's Arachnidotaxonomy, but it's A-R-A with the accent mark, C-N-I-D-O taxonomy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, been following.
Yeah. They post some really cool papers, like not necessarily. They post mostly the abstracts, and then if you want the actual paper, if you just message Lewis, he'll send you that. But they just did one on Titius cerululatus, which is a species in Brazil that causes a lot of problems. They're extremely toxic. I think they've caused fatalities in the past. But
which one?
Titius cerululatus. I think they're just called yellow scorpions. But they just posted a thing talking about behavioral response of the yellow scorpion to different lights. And it says scorpions cause 150,000 plus accidents per year in Brazil. Control over the population involves manual collection and pesticides. Here we tested if light could be used to attract or repel the yellow scorpion, Titus cerululatus, the main species responsible for accidents in the country. Based on previous studies on scorpions' physiological and behavioral reactions to light, we tested wavelengths that correspond to red, green, and violet, controlling temperature, absolute radiance, and electromagnetic stimuli. We built a ring arena divided into 5 parts and had the individuals freely walking in the presence of a light/control. We released the scorpions either away from the LED to test attraction or close to the LED to test repellency. Results showed avoidance to green light and violet light on a smaller portion. That could be due to wavelengths, since those correspond to primary and secondary response peaks of the animal photoreceptors due to the absolute radiance of lights or both. Those 2 wavelengths therefore have potential for scorpion control and deserve further investigations.
Which, by the way, I saw that, and dude, that thing is really cool looking.
They're awesome, dude.
So cool looking.
That's a species that's been high on the list too. But they just posted one 8 hours ago. It's I guess a bite report of not a black widow, but a Latrodectus bite in Greece. We report the case of a 66-year-old farmer who presented to our hospital due to abdominal pain and was admitted after he was bitten by a black widow. Our patient showed the typical symptoms of latrodectism, that is, rubor and pain at the bite spot, washboard abdomen, rhabdomyolysis, lower extremities neuromuscular paralysis. Our case was complicated by acute renal failure, which is not common in such cases. A quite remarkable finding is the detection and capture of the culprit arthropod from the patient's clothes and its identification by expert military veterinarian arachnologists. The patient was completely cured and discharged after a week-long hospitalization.
I want to know where in Greece there was black widow.
Dude, they're so adaptable. Honestly, I think you wouldn't have to look very far. Like, I know brown widows are pretty much worldwide at this point. I don't see mactans or any other Latrodectus species being any different. Those things can survive anywhere. They're really not hard to keep alive.
And then just going back to Luis and his page and everything, but dude, I went on iNatch. Those Ceruleas they're so pretty, man, but they're straight up like right outside Rio, Sao Paulo, like, man.
It's legitimately a problem.
Yeah.
Stings and stuff from those things, like it's a real issue.
I know that he does a lot of stuff out of UM. I wonder how did they get those stateside? Like, did they do the experiment stateside?
I don't know,
because that's crazy that they would import that. Like, that's cool as shit. I know
Brandon,
see
Brandon at Arachnid Rarities, he breeds them.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I mean, they're not difficult to get. They've been in the hobby for a while now.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay.
But yeah, they're going back to Latrodectus bites. I mean, they really suck. So they cause like massive body wide cramping, because that venom's going to mess with the calcium and potassium channels and stuff in your nerves and causes really painful cramping all over your entire body. Not fun. So
yeah.
And someone like a 66-year-old, I mean, maybe because they're a farmer, that I'm sure they're probably in better shape physically than most, can probably handle it better. But usually the elderly and young children are it's a much more serious situation for black widow bites.
Yeah, it says cases of venomous spider bites are not common in Greece. Although the spider species black widow inhabits southern Europe, the classic black widow is usually a bright black color with characteristic red mark on its abdomen and 1 to 1.5 centimeters in size. Its bite is not always perceptible and rarely lethal. Systematic envenomation can become gradually apparent, causing pain that extends beyond the bite site. And if you look at the photos in slide 2, you see the bites on like the middle of his belly, but you see all the red blotching around the rest of his torso. Like, I feel bad for the guy, man.
Yeah, and like I said, Luis is awesome. Like, he'll post some papers, and I'll just message him and be like, "Dude, can you like?" He has my email address like on file. I'm like, "Can you send me that one?"
Yeah,
and he'll do it. He'll send it to you like right away. He's awesome. I think we're gonna try to get on arachnids at some point.
You have to. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. I feel bad because I've been so off socials lately, man. Just life and trying to keep up with the Instagram grind, as they say. But dude, he always sends me and tags me in stuff, Venom Exchange Radio too, like all this cool stuff. And I like, hey man, if you're listening, I love you for all that you send. I'm sorry that I can't always be proactive.
Well, I was telling him like I want to start doing a thing, like an update sort of segment with the arachnid shows of anything that's sort of posted that we've found interest in.
Sure.
You know, ahead of time, get the paper in full and sort of discuss it if we can, but it just depends on sort of what we have lined up as far as guests and time and, you know, all that stuff. So,
yeah, you got to get them on.
But do you want to get into the meat and potatoes of?
Yeah, I think that'd be. Let's do it. Let's
explain that while I go take a leak real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually. I let this cigar burn itself out because it was getting a little too warm. And one thing that I kind of discovered an accident, and Justin educated me as to refreshing a cigar. So, and that's probably the wrong term. Basically, when you get to the 2/3 mark of a cigar, or even like the halfway point, if it starts to taste a little funny or it's getting a little too warm in terms of the draw itself, temperature wise, let it burn itself out. And you can ash a little bit of it off. Don't go, knocking it or anything. But let it burn itself out. And then when you relight, once you get it going, you get a good draw going, blow out the opposite direction. It'll actually catch your exhale on fire, so to speak. And it actually burns off some of the ammonia and some of the vapors that are making it taste a little funky. I'm going to do it with you on camera right now. So here, this cigar is completely out. And I'm just going to toast it a little bit to warm it up a little. And now I'm going to draw. And I'm going to draw and then blow out.
I'm back. I've returned.
You've returned. And now we're lit perfect. And it has restored the delicious aroma from before. Talk about refreshing it by blowing out. I did not get into tonight's topic, by the way.
Oh.
We were just talking about cigars for a hot second.
Then let me take that away.
No, put it back up. Put it back up. So tonight we're going to talk about tools and equipment of our hobby. Whether it be for a snake that is unruly and just doesn't like to be handled, or something that is venomous and potentially dangerous to your health, or simply to keep the stress levels down on a snake that is a little high strung. We use snake hooks and tongs and pinchers and hemostats and alligator forceps and all kinds of stuff. So tonight we figured we would dive in and skim the surface, if you will.
Because I know we've talked about hooks and stuff before, but I feel like we haven't really covered sort of the different kinds and their uses and applications and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, we were trying to sort of spitball ideas for the show, and I was like, oh, I got a good one. As I was thinking about it on my way home, like, why do I love my field hook more than all my other hooks, and why do I like my smaller hooks more than my larger hooks? And I was like, that's something good to get into. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Now, before we go in, can I do a selfless plug?
Of course.
So if you go to Venom Exchange Radio on YouTube or Venomous Etiquette Videos on YouTube, same page, same account, I actually have an episode from, like 2 years ago on snake hooks and tongs. It is fairly boring, but it goes into a good variety of snake hooks that we're going to talk about tonight. And that way you can kind of put our descriptions to the video and see if you don't want to rewatch this, if you're listening on your commute to work. But basically, in terms of venomous handling, those are some of my favorites in that video. So feel free to check it out. Venom Exchange Radio on YouTube, Tools of the Trade. And yeah, Smitty, what are we looking at? Narrow hooks here.
So we're just on Midwest's website. I know like Venom Life makes very similar designs as far as sizes and stuff. So, you know, kind of shop around and figure out what you think you need.
Yeah, for sure.
But I figure, so we'd start with like the smaller hooks, because one of the hooks that I use the most is that Venom Life.
Neonate.
Is it the neonate hook?
Yeah, the little tiny skinny guy. It's like
it's not the tiny one. It's like the size up from that.
Oh,
maybe it's
well. So
let me look.
I use the travel hook from Venom Life Gear. That's the one that they designed for the University of Miami to bring to South America.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing is, I think it's 29 inches. It's just small enough. It's just big enough to be safe for like an eyelash viper or like a baby bothrops, but it's just short enough to fit in like a carry-on.
Yeah, so the one I'm thinking of is the Viper series.
Viper series, okay.
Which is, they come in a 20, it's 24 inches.
Okay, so 2 foot.
I have one of those in my car. I have two of them in my room, I think. Here, well, just to give you all an idea.
There you
go. For reference.
Okay, perfect.
I feel like even this picture, it's a little bigger than what it actually is.
Yeah, but I mean that's a good representation.
Yeah, like that's a small Bothrops for reference, and a small Trigon.
Yeah.
This has become sort of one of my go-tos. Whether I'm using it for the Persimmon, or I'll even use them for the Jansenii that are 6 feet if I have to. I like how lightweight they are. It's just a good size. It's good for little snakes. It's good for medium-sized snakes. Anything larger, heavy-bodied, it's not good for. But if you're dealing with like colubrids, anything that's like really, really wiry and fast,
I would say anything that's around the thickness of your thumb or less, you're in business.
Yeah, and even then, like when I use it for the Jansenii, it's more or less just to put some distance between my hand and their face and their mouth.
Yeah, you're using it as a tool to bring some body to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I keep one of these in my car as well. When we go out herping, usually I'll tuck mine, like the one that's in my car. Usually I'll tuck it in my pants, like by my pocket, like my back pocket.
Yeah.
That way it stays in there pretty well. And then if we come across something small, I have it there ready to go.
Sure.
So it's really handy for that. We usually, when Jake and I are road cruising, the road we go on has a ton of baby copperheads. So it's really, really nifty for those, even though they don't stay on that hook at all. Even for some like adult copperheads, this is more than enough. Anything like a bigger cottonmouth, I definitely would not use that. But corals, perfect.
Yeah.
Neonate crotalids, be it rattlesnakes or copperheads, it's good for it. It's really good. So.
Agreed. Do you want to jump down to the neonate hook just because we're in this genre?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see, and Jake has some of these, and I have something similar, but it's the 3D printed ones from Brahms. He sent me sort of a set of couple different sizes.
Yes.
So I don't have one of these VLG hooks at this size, but I have the 3D printed ones from Brahms that are also super, super handy and work well.
Yeah. Do you of the Brahms hooks, because I think you and I got prototypes, which is why I think he sent us like a bushel of them, because I know he sent you a small handful. He sent me a small handful, and the blue and green ones that have like a very, very thin, almost like a dental pick head to them, I feel like that's fine for something that just hatched or like a baby eyelash viper.
Mm-hmm.
But did you get ones that were matte black and the handle itself was almost a square or rectangle?
Not black. I have some blue ones that are,
But the handle is a square, basically.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so those I absolutely love. The problem is because they're 3D printed, the head is squared off, and it's very difficult to actually loop something. But like for my Gila monster, I literally used 2 of them to scoop up the Gila monster and bring it to me. And this is like an adult female Gila monster. So those 3D printed hooks, although could be very dangerous for venomous of that size, they do still work really well in a wide assortment of different things.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll switch here. Brandon asked, what kind of hook shape do we prefer?
Well, if we're flipping stuff in the field in terms of logs and rocks and branches and stumps, I'm going to use an L-shaped hook, preferably one that is designed as a field hook, as a what we call a stump ripper, simply because I'll break a normal hook if it's not like that. And you want to get into field hooks on that topic?
Yes.
So a field hook is a hook that you'd use, quote unquote, in the field, commonly called stump rippers, because you use them to rip open busted logs or fallen trees or over heavy rocks that you can't get your fingers around. They're usually welded really, really well, or sometimes there's a resin epoxy they're used on the actual head. If you use Midwest, it's titanium, which is phenomenal, and then like a titanium bracket that's riveted into the aluminum shaft of the hook. I think they're great. However, in the snake room, I would never use an L hook because I prefer to have the U shape. It's just what I've worked with the majority of my life and what I'm most comfortable with. If L hooks work for you in a lab setting or a bedroom setting or a home setting, then rock and roll. It's each their own. But for me, I would prefer a U shape in captivity.
See, now I wish that I had that Viper Series size hook in an L shape like this, because that's one of my, like, for some reason that L is, I feel more comfortable using that than I do like a standard U. So I prefer the L or like a tight V over sort of the wider U's.
Okay.
Let's see. So they just had a section that had like a narrow, you can see the deep U here versus sort of the more shallowed ones. But Venom Life has made some that are, I should say Get Hooked rather, has made some that are, they do have that tighter V to them.
Well, I'm actually going to try and pull up a photo from when I went to visit Woody for the magazine article, and he made me my custom fill hook. And unfortunately, when I had my car fire, I lost that hook. So that hook is no more. I need to have him make me another one. But that hook, I had him tailor make it to my specifications of being a kind of a hybrid between a U and an L. So if I'm going to try and find the picture while we talk, but basically the U dip in the hook was very shallow. And then the point of the hook was completely rounded and conical. There was no chisel edge to it. And then at the same time, it kicked out like a check mark. And that was the real design idea of that, was to try and emphasize that check mark hook. And that way I could have something with a longer foot that was conical, so I could, get an arboreal.
Here's a good picture of when I say like a V.
Yes,
I mean like a deeper, tighter, like the distance between the front of the hook and the back slope of that hook is just deeper.
Right.
Which I've had these mini hooks from the West before too, and I love them just as much as the Venom Life
graphite
ones.
Yeah, the red handle graphite one.
Yeah. When they say lightweight, like it is ultra lightweight. They weigh like next to nothing. Which the VLG ones are light too. Both make good options.
Man, it never fails. Whenever you say, "Oh, let me show you this picture," and then
Yeah,
digging through to find it, and then I feel like, "Oh, well, we just did that article that was like 4 or 5 years ago."
It was a while ago.
Yeah,
It's been a minute. So Midwest has L hooks. And they have it in the 24-inch.
Oh, baby, there you go.
I'm gonna grab me one of them because that'd be perfect for Jance and I.
There you go.
When I'm wrangling them Jansenite, son, and I mean we're talking about the female like being 6 feet. Like I like shorter hooks when it comes to that kind of stuff for some reason.
Yeah,
my room is not conducive to having like a full size 40-inch hook. Like I need something smaller and more compact. And I don't know. I feel like I have more control when I'm using something smaller like that with a larger colubrid.
Sure.
Just a personal preference, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, we used to use the same thing with like large mambas and stuff, where you have like a 7 or 8 foot mamba, and you're only using a 30-inch hook because you got all this belly loop of snake in between your grab hand or your tailing hand or your opposite double hook if you're using 2 hooks. So in between the 2 hook heads or your hand and the hook head, you got 3-4 feet of snake just drooped in there.
Did you find yours at all now?
I'm like so close. And then I tried to type in like snake hook, and that did not help.
Yeah, see, I need to grab me one of those for $17. It's
yeah, man, you got to do it.
Can you ever have enough snake hooks though?
No, and to be honest, I made the tragic mistake of keeping some of, if not all of my favorite hooks in my car. And when my car caught on fire, man, I lost them all. And it was heart-wrenching because like some of them were like I had Ziegel hooks, and like he's no longer with us, he's passed away, so like I'll never get one ever again, you know. Man, I have a picture of the hook next to a cottonmouth, but you can't tell because it's a horrible angle. But
I've never used any of Midwest's collapsibles.
So I was going to get into that. I will say this: unless you are traveling abroad and you need something that is compact and shrinks down, I would never, ever recommend a collapsible hook for venomous, period. They are dangerous. They are unpredictable in terms of them snapping or breaking on you. And if you watch my video on Venom Exchange Radio's YouTube, you will see Venomous Etiquette videos YouTube. You will see how easily they snap. I literally break one on camera. Obviously, Midwest is not as cheap and flimsy as the one that I break on camera. Midwest makes a hell of a product, but the concept is still the same. Now, Midwest Tongs makes their detachable hooks, and those are incredible. I own the detachable tongs. The aircraft grade aluminum shaft slides inside itself, and then it's riveted in place. And there's like a spring-loaded detent that you got to push down with your thumb to lock it in place. They are absolutely incredible. And that I highly recommend for travel. So it doesn't telescope like a quote unquote collapsible hook, but it breaks down into 2 or 3 sections.
Yeah.
And it's safe for large, or if not considerably medium venomous.
You see, they've got like the collapsible gentle giant tongs.
So I own those. I actually have collapsible M1 tongs. My M1 tongs melted in the car fire. They were in the trunk, and I replaced them with these. So they work exactly the same way. So, and this is not something that you're going to lift up a 5-foot gaboon with. You're not going to lift up a 15-foot retic with it. It's going to break, you know.
But double hooks are for.
Right. That's what the double hooks are for.
When you're fighting those slug-shaped individuals,
wrestling them pythons.
But going back to like something to travel with, Venom Life does make their travel series hooks, which I have one. It's the Mike Clarkson signature hook.
You got a Mike Clarkson hook? I didn't get a Mike Clarkson.
You
got the Pelagius hook, right?
Yeah, I got a Pelamis hook.
A Pelamis, yeah.
I feel like I was one of the few people that snagged one of those. And it is a travel series, so it's 30 inches, which you can typically fit in a regular like suitcase or duffel bag.
Nice.
Having traveled with mine, I think I took mine to. I didn't take the Pelamis hook with me to Texas, but I did take another travel hook that was also like a prototype from Woody that I ended up giving to Preston Converse's girlfriend's son at the time when he was hooking with us. He didn't have a hook, and I was like, "Yeah, man, take that one and like let him have it." Like I was like, "Keep it, it's yours." Yeah. And then they broke up, and I don't know where that hook is now. So,
well, you made a kid happy.
I made a kid happy.
Wow. So this is September of 2020. And now you can see the shape of the hook head. I'll show this on. Excuse me. So it's almost a check mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then the head is completely hand ground into a round conical point.
Yeah, the bullet tip is awesome. Like the Viper series hooks I have that. The Pelamis hook has that. That's not something you would think would make that much of a difference, but it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, man.
Especially when you're on like a smooth and flat surface to get it under the snake. Like if you use a standard sort of beveled edge and you realize how difficult it can be to get it under a snake sometimes, depending on the situation, and then trying it with that bullet tip, it is night and day difference just in terms of the ease of use.
Yeah, man.
Henry said that carbon fiber one that Woody made him is the shit.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Henry has a one-off carbon fiber hook that Woody from Venom Life Gear made for him for his King Cobra. It's absolutely awesome.
So Jake has his field hook, his L hook came from Stony. Snake equipment. And Jake is really happy with his stump ripper.
Nice.
Stony also makes good stuff. He also does the ones with the poly end on them. So sort of the thinking behind that is, stainless steel in serious air conditioning or whatever, like gets cold. And so some of those snakes, you touch them with a cold hook and they're going to just lose it. His poly hooks you don't have that problem because it's a poly. It's, some sort of acrylic or something of the sort. And you don't have that cold metal touch that you get with a standard hook. So,
and I will say from personal experience, it does work in that regard. I've never liked them for venomous because in my opinion, they flex too much, which could be unsafe in one way or another. But if you're using non-venomous snakes or smaller venomous snakes, I wouldn't have any problem at all with it.
Yeah, and he's got these the rock ticklers. So it's a hook basically, but it's like really flexible. It's a flexible polycarb.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it's like a coat hanger, but it just you don't have it's not rigid, it's not super stiff, so you have a little more bend to it. So you're getting, like he says in the description here, small holes and cracks. It's good for getting spiders, snakes, lizards, whatever, sort of out of those tight spaces.
Yeah, man.
And I'm actually curious. He has tubes on here that are.
Oh yeah, what's his tubes made of?
I don't know. I'm gonna look. It's a 3-piece set. 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1/16. And it comes with end caps.
Okay.
So those are smaller. Those aren't for. You're not going to be doing gaboons or anything with it.
Right.
for smaller stuff. That's nifty.
Yeah, they look way more dense than some of the other ones out there.
Yeah, and I mean, some sort of tube for non-venomous specifically, even if it's just the fluorescent light tubes that people use to transport those to keep them from breaking. You can get them at Lowe's. Usually there's like a 3-foot one. I'll cut that in half, and I've used that for chondros and some of the Jansenii just when I'm having a, stuck shed on the tails, or if I'm having to pinch hold them or something to get eye caps off. Like, these tubes do make life so much easier than trying to go in there and just grab a chondro by the head. Tubing, even if it's something simple and not super heavy duty like that, I can't recommend it enough. It really does make life a lot easier.
Nice.
I don't know what the Bushmaster hook is. Comes in a bunch of different lengths.
Okay.
Let me see. So this is the field hook that Jake got. They also have a lot of different size options from 20-inch to 36-inch.
That's great.
Which I will say, on my field hooks, I go as long as I can. I like length on the field hooks, because when you're, say you're in sort of rockier, hillier terrain, where you're looking at like levels and you're trying to get to rocks and stuff that aren't on, that are below your waist or something. It's a little easier to get a hold of some of those things and be able to look at.
Absolutely. And I'm short enough that I've used it as a walking stick countless times. Yeah. So yep. I mean, the only problem is, unless you're packing a long case with your hooks for travel, it is very difficult to transport because they're gigantic. So just keep that in mind. Do you mind going back to Midwest and show the Marcos Shea series? Because selfless plug.
I don't know if they even have those anymore.
The Marcos Sheas?
Let's see.
So obviously I'm biased because I'm a huge fan of Mark, but I got his 29-inch Marcos Shea signature series hook, and it is now my go-to vehicle hook. It has the same aircraft grade aluminum shaft that the tongs have, the blue coloration with Mark's signature laser engraved on it, and then it has a U-hook that is riveted in place for durability, and it is small enough that you could put it into a check bag.
See, that shape of that hook is just not that make it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Oh man, I've used it on
so deep.
I've used that on everything from Russell's Vipers to Eastern Diamondbacks and Egyptian Cobras and Wrinkles, and yeah, thing's awesome.
Did you talk to him about it at all? As to
no, we were trying to do a third episode, because there's two different sizes. There's the one that you see on the screen right now with the grip in the middle, which I've never liked that grip in the middle. I've never liked it.
I like that grip.
It's a hazard waiting to happen, man. As soon as the snake goes up the shaft and it gets to that textured foam,
it's like an extra springboard.
Oh yeah, you're done. So in that regard, but we were planning on having a third episode where we could talk about some of the endorsed items such as this. And it just never came to fruition. Just busy schedules,
Yeah.
When you're a globe-trotting explorer like Mark, you got to track them down.
Yeah, I don't know. That's deep.
Well, when I see you in a few weeks, I'll let you play with it and you can try it.
Do that. Go catch us some corals.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Have you used the Gentle Giants versus the M1s? Have you used both?
Yes. I've owned both. I wound up, man, do I still have Gentle Giants? I can't remember if I gave them to somebody or if I have them, because they were gifted to me. They were hand-me-downs from somebody. Mm-hmm. Gentle Giants work amazing, providing that the snake is girthier bodied.
Larger.
Right. So using Gentle Giants on an adult Western Diamondback or on a juvenile Eastern Diamondback or a Russell's Viper, no problem. The M1s, we used to joke and call it, they're my Cobra got behind the couch tongs, because they're, from what I gather, David Williams, when he was doing his taipan research in Papua New Guinea at Port Moresby, he was given M1 or given Gentle Giants to use, or they ordered Gentle Giants to use on the Papuan taipans in Papua New Guinea. And the taipans are so fast and so lean that they would just slip through those wide, broad grabbers. So he's like, hey, man, can you cut the grabbers in half and make them thinner? And that's where you get the M1s from. I love the M1s. Obviously, you're not going to use it on a giant rattlesnake like a neotropical or a gaboon viper or something very wide-bodied, or a blood python. You're not going to do it. But on something like a mamba or something like a fertilance or a cobra, they are fantastic.
Do you know what the difference is between the pro and the regular?
On which?
Both. They have a Pro Series M1 and a Pro Series Gentle Giant. Is it the rubber?
I have no idea.
No, this just says standard super tong. So this is more like the baseline.
Oh yeah, Pilstroms.
Yes.
Yeah, so those are Pilstroms.
If you're going to spend this much money on tongs, you might as well just go ahead and get the M1s.
Correct. So nothing against Dana and Midwest. Midwest is quintessential in snake handling equipment. Some of the finest in the world. However, I don't particularly like his Pilstroms. If you scroll up a little bit, see the top jaw on the Pilstroms?
Yep.
So Midwest's top jaw is rather short. And what happens is when you go to grab the snake, you can pinch them. You can actually crack a rib or pinch their skin. I've even seen guys cut them on accident and damage the snake because the tip of that top jaw is just not long enough. If you look at Johan Marer's Pilstroms from South Africa, that tip is almost twice as long, and it hangs over the front of the bottom of the jaw.
Like an overbite.
Right, like an overbite, exactly. And that is, dare I say, impossible to pinch the snake in that regard.
See, I'm not a fan of the exposed springs and stuff too, though.
And that was my next comment, is that's why I have M1s and Gentle Giants, because everything's contained.
So like if we're looking at 40-inch standard tongs, it's $59.95. If we do M1s of the same size, it's an extra $20.
And it's 1,000% worth it.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize, but that red that's on there, that's actually like a silicone rubber that it's coated in. And it
reduced drag.
Yeah, for sure.
I like these little mini ones though.
So that is a brand new product from, I think, 2024 or maybe 2023. I have not used them. Scott Eiper swears by them. He says they are absolutely fantastic. And his favorite thing is the CNC machining on those tongs is so precise, and the amount of pressure needed to pull the trigger is so soft and smooth from their attention to detail and machining that it is perfect for juvenile lapids without spooking them. So like Scott and Ty will use them
sizes too.
Yeah, Scott and Ty use them on baby browns, baby tigers, baby death adders, and it's just a barely pull the trigger, and it just gently squeezes the snake without it smushing and going crazy. I haven't bought them yet, but they're on my list. They're on my shopping list.
1 pound trigger pull.
There you go. Yeah, Scott and Ty are official Midwest dealers for Australia. So they got a good handful of all that equipment down under. So if anybody listening wants to get their hands on this stuff, instead of paying the exuberant amount of shipping from the United States, you can contact Ty and Scott at Nature for You, and they will hook you up.
What are animal grabbers? Oh, it's like the opposite. It's like the shoe horns.
Yeah, that's for like
raccoons.
I was gonna say crispy critters. You
ever use baggers?
So I have a pro bagger. the Pro Bagger is great if you are a field biologist or you're using it as a conduit to container really, really dangerous animals.
Yeah.
I've used it in the field. I don't like it because it gets dirty really quick. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to clean, in my opinion. But what people don't realize is the Pro Baggers, it attaches onto the head of it. And then there's also a tube at the bottom of the bag. And when you buy it from Midwest, I think it's like tied off with like a bow tie or like a safety knot. And what we used to do is we used to take a restraining tube, like the ones you're showing right now on the screen, of appropriate size for the snake. We would put it in the bottom of the bag in that little tube of fabric and zip tie it to the bag and then cork the exposed end of the tube. We would then take out the mamba or the taipan or the terciopelo and put it in the Pro Bagger, seal off the top of the bag with the hook, let the snake go down to the bottom of the bag into the tube that was zip tied. And now we can see the head coming out the clear tube, grab by the body and restrain the animal via the tube. And now that's a super safe way to give injections or have a veterinarian examine the animal without having to pin the animal or risk tubing it on the floor. Now it's in the bag and it exits the bag on its own into the tube.
I want to know why they sell these.
Because it's novelty and it's fun.
Is it?
It is. I've got one.
You got a venom lock?
No, I don't have venom lock. I have the venom sucker thing. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I put one of those on my finger. I got a cut or something one time just to see how much it worked. And like, it was terrifying how much blood that thing drew out of my...
Yeah, right there. You see it? The little yellow one? Yeah. I used it on a mosquito bite once and it worked. It completely got rid of the mosquito saliva or whatever.
See, I haven't seen these yet either.
What is that? Pitfall cone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. That was a good guess.
You supply the PVC pipe to put the cones on. Cones can be cut open for larger snakes. Huh. Oh. I see. Just goes right into the PVC there.
Yeah.
I'm tracking.
You should go to African Snakebite Institute's page and look at some of their PVC tubes and some of their tongs and grabbers next.
Another thing I like a lot.
Yeah.
That 5-gallon bucket lid with the lock.
Yeah. I don't have one because that is only good for snakes that fit through that little door. You know? But the locking mechanism is really cool. It is. We always just zip tie it, but if you don't have zip ties, then you have the lock. You know? Right. And I'm sorry, for $50, it's worth it.
Got to see what their apparel game is looking like.
Oh, they stepped up a little bit.
I miss the old shirts with like the spectacle and stuff on them.
Yeah, I've got one of the spectacle shirts that's all gross and old. I had, man, from when I was like in high school, I had one with a cartoon, like a cartoon adventurer with like the Outback hat, and he had a snake hook in his hand that I think was broken with a gaboon viper latched onto his arm.
Should have got Midwest.
Yeah.
Good one too.
That was a great shirt.
Like it's
we should
more applicable than ever.
Oh, for sure. We should message Dana and have him repop that.
Bring it back. Okay, let's see.
There it is. The African Snakebite Institute.
Shop.
I mean, even if you don't want to shop, because everything's going to be in South African Rand. There you go. There's the tubes. But like some of the stuff is, you could make the tubes at home. I have made them. They work like $1 million. Basically, in South Africa, because so many people engage with very dangerous snakes on a daily basis, instead of having a bagging system or buckets with screw-on lids, they get a PVC tube that has removable, replaceable caps. And basically you leave the tube against a wall, slide the snake against the wall, and the snake slithers in the tube. That is a little overkill, in my opinion, what you're showing on the screen.
So an electronic snake trap.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, but it's a little impractical. I guess it's for, the person who.
Rand is that in US dollars?
What is it, 11K?
Yeah.
Here, I got converter real quick here. All right, and this is.
That looks like something the government would be like, yeah, why? What is this you got? What you got here?
How many Rand is it? 11,000?
11,000 for the mobile module.
$602.
What about 500?
500 Rand?
Yeah.
$27.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the electronic module is the expensive part. And I know, talking to Johan about that, it took them a long time to design that and put a lot of R&D into it. Basically, it's the same thing as a normal PVC pipe, but the trap door closes once the snake has passed the sensor. Right. Yeah. Click those tubes that are right there on the top right.
Yeah, I like these a lot. I remember I've seen these on Instagram.
Those are, and again,
transparent buckets too.
And see, I see the point of the transparent bucket, but I don't like it because I don't want the snake to see everything and stress out. When the snake is in a dark bucket or a dark trash can, they calm down so much more because they can't see all the people gawking at it, or the fact that they're in a vehicle driving down the road.
I like it because if you're with a group of people and people are putting copperheads in unmarked bags and then just setting those bags loosely in with luggage or whatever else, and someone could have easily gotten bit because those weren't marked.
Well, that comes down to
this.
The individual. I mean, I have hot boxes that I transport snakes in, and they're marked danger venomous reptile. They're locked. They're wooden crates with stainless steel screen. So, and yeah, this is the PVC tube that we talk about. It's basically just a normal PVC tube with an air hole on one side. One cap is sealed off. The other cap is threaded. It has a handle so that your hand isn't in direct line of fire. But it's lightweight. It's easily transportable.
Mm-hmm.
So you could make this at home. I plan on making one eventually. I just never got around to it.
Do they say what diameter the tube is?
It's wide. I think it's like a 5 or 6 inch tube.
110 millimeter plastic?
No, I think that's the thickness of the actual plastic.
Oh.
Hold on.
I don't know.
It doesn't say the diameter of the tube. I mean, you can see the person's hand.
I mean, that looks like it's a solid 3 or 4 inches, right?
Oh, I was gonna say more now. I was gonna say more like 6.
It may be. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and you could make that at Home Depot.
Coming soon, Fulvius transport tubes.
Do it. We should do a Venom Exchange Radio collaboration.
I'll spray paint them pink and in all kinds of fun colors.
Nice. So, and those are his Pilstroms. If you want to click them, it shows you that longer top jaw.
These are limited edition.
Ooh.
They got that red snake skin.
Oh, that's cool. And see how, there you go. See how long it is? I think it's like 27 millimeters, I think. Something like that.
110 centimeters.
That's the length of the whole hook, though, right?
I think so, yeah. Total length. Why can't everyone else just get on the American measurement system, damn it? Do what the cool kids do. Hooks and hooks and hooks. How do you feel about pinners?
I don't like them at all. I've seen way too many mishaps with pinners. For those of you listening on your commute to work, a pinner is a snake hook without a hook head. Instead, it has a horseshoe on the end of it with a rubber like catheter tube. Yeah, catheter tubing between the 2 points of the horseshoe. And basically you press it on the nape of a snake to pin it to the ground, and it doesn't hurt the snake. I've seen way too many snakes just springboards, shoot backwards out of it and try and bite people. I don't like it. I don't think it's safe. And to be honest, there's really no reason to ever pin a snake in the field. And then if you are in a laboratory setting where you're pinning snakes, then you're been trained by professionals and you're going to use what you're going to use.
Oh, here's what I need.
There it is.
21 scorpion torch.
That is cool, man. That is so cool. There's some Parabuthus action.
Takes 3 AAA batteries.
Nice.
Surely there's something like that on Amazon, similar that we can get in the States here.
Yeah, I'm sure. Right. But it won't be ASI branded.
I know. That's nifty.
Very.
Maybe if I get one of those, that'll give me more motivation to get out west.
Yeah.
I like those gators too. With Velcro.
Yeah, man.
Dang, they got it all, man. First aid kits.
Yeah, man. Dude, he's teaching so many classes now. They're doing like multiple classes a week across the country. You know, and he's teaching everything from farm workers to school employees, teachers, security, construction site people, everything. So,
Field Guide to Spiders of South Africa, and then there's that scorpion book we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, man, they're doing great stuff down there. Johan and the boys are killing it.
Color code for the venomous, non-venomous Smitty. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that would be as easy as just getting some perma stickers or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things though, like that's to do the tubing thing like that. You know, why do it to sell when someone can just as easily just make it themselves for, you know, half the price or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, something like that just seems kind of goofy to, at least here in the States, not what the guys at ASI are doing, but like with Lowe's and Home Depot being a stone's throw from pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like really, you're gonna start selling PVC pipes and
yeah.
What are those removable? Do you know?
The you mean the cap on the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, one end. So it's a threaded cap that's screwed in tight, and then the other side is a threaded flat that has the air holes and a handle.
Okay.
And then I don't know if those have it, but the ones that we've used in the past, midway down the tube is another handle that's screwed in with very, very short flush screws so it doesn't protrude and touch the snake. That way the tube doesn't roll.
Okay.
So like, yes, you could use it as a carrying handle like a briefcase, but at the same time, when you lay it down on the ground, it can't roll more than like, you know,
I mean,
120 degrees.
Small feet on the end of like the cap or something to.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. But yeah, that handle, I think it was adhesive. I think it was like a epoxied on or whatever. That way there was no screws into it. And then what we did is we spray painted them khaki to cover up all the PVC measurement markings on the tube, and then stuck a danger venomous reptile sticker on it, and then got the clear coat spray paint and just clear coated over the sticker.
Okay, so it wasn't going anywhere.
Right, to protect the sticker, because the sticker was just a cheap Amazon danger venomous reptile, you know.
I like it.
Yeah, it was great. And then we used to we would walk with the tube facing away from us if it was a spitter. So, but
it just had the ventilation holes on the top, like in the top cap.
Yeah, it was the ventilation holes were like you saw in the photo. The cap that you screwed on by hand was the air holes.
Okay.
So
I see.
Probably not the safest, but at least you knew that's where the air holes were.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have them in like one location that you don't have to really wonder or forget about.
Right. And at the same time, you're not grabbing it by the cap itself.
Right.
You're grabbing it by the handle, which is 2 or 3 inches away from the air holes. So the odds of you getting bit through those air holes is slim to none, providing you're just touching the handle and not the cap itself.
Yeah, and if I was going to do that, I'd add a handle to like the middle of it to be able to carry it like a briefcase almost.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying before. Like,
yeah.
Ideas. And they work, man. They work really well. So,
well, when it comes to choosing hooks, personally, if we're talking about something that is multi-use, like you're using it in your room, you're using it herping, sort of the standard travel hook, 30-inch size, is what I would pick and recommend. For herping, field hook all the way.
Agreed.
And then carrying that Viper hook just in case. Ideally, so what I really want, and I still want, I've talked about it before, and I will still want something, is like some sort of attachment I can have to my belt to where it's like a clip that can hold that Viper hook.
You need a holster.
And then kind of.
Yeah, you need a snake hook holster.
I don't know what else I can think of that uses something similar. Kind of like, so like you have the racks that people use for like their brooms and stuff on their wall.
Yeah.
Just a little horseshoe looking clip with sort of the flanged edges, just something that I can just clip that hook onto, and then I don't have to worry about it and constantly keep adjusting it in my pants.
Sure.
Well, really
so Woody made for a while, and he stopped making them because no one was buying them. Again, he gave me one. It got burnt in the car. R.I.P. Basically a sheath or scabbard for 3 or 4 snake hooks that tied onto your belt. And the U hook or the L hook, the actual hook head, the foot of the hook, if you will, was protruding at the top. And then the handle was down the sheath, and you'd wear it on your belt like a sword, like a samurai sword or a knight in shining armor. Yeah. And then you'd say, okay, I'm about to use the 30-inch. I would just I knew it was this particular hook head, pull out the 30-inch or pull out the field hook or what have you.
Yeah. See, I just want something that can clip it onto my belt and keep it from moving, and then be able to remove it quickly, but also have the retention. I don't know. I have I see the design in my head. Maybe it's something I need to ask Brahms about, because I don't know how well flexibility wise you have with the hook clipping into that, if that makes sense.
Sure. Well, I also imagine if you're using, let's say you're doing like I guess you could do it with a standard aluminum shafted hook, but if you had a hole drilled through it, or you had a loop of even a zip tie on a loop that you could fasten to a carabiner on your belt loop and just carabiner your hook on there.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find. Yeah. So something like, oh, damn it. You bitch. The picture's tiny. Here. Let me share this. Something like this, 3D printed, but the back half is like a belt clip.
Oh, okay.
But like a J hook on the back.
Yeah. Okay.
And then something that is tight enough but has enough flex for that hook to be able to clip in here.
Right. But see, wouldn't that be cumbersome, almost like a leg brace?
I mean, well, if you're using it for small hooks, like the Viper hook or something tiny, I don't think it would be. If you're carrying it on the side of your leg too, or just directly behind you, parallel to your ass crack.
So Mr. Black says, look up fishing rod holders. Smart. And then Rob says, double backstrap like Deadpool. I'm 1,000% game. And Jeff Frederick says, you'd want something to keep it from bouncing around and smacking against your leg. I fully agree.
See, maybe that's just not as much of an issue with me because I'm tall.
Yeah, I mean, you are a very tall individual.
So I don't like when I have it in my pants, it's fine. I'm always worried that I'm going to like snag something as I'm walking through thicker brush and it's going to pull that hook out and I'm not going to know that it's gone until it's too late.
See, the other thing too is, what are you doing? Like, this is going to sound weird. I always have the hook in my hand.
So I'm saying like, I usually, if we go out, I have my field hook, like my big field hook.
Yeah.
And then I usually take that Viper hook with me just in case we find something tiny and that field hook is entirely too large for it. So
I see.
Small copperheads, pygmies.
Yes, you said that. You said that. Okay. And come to think of it,
I have to stick it in, like I said, the small of my back in my pants.
Right.
And then it sticks it stays for the most part, but I do constantly like check it to make sure it's still there.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've done something similar where I've slipped a small neonate hook that's say 22 inches. I've slid that through the front breast straps of a backpack. And I know Rob Stone had, on the last trip that we went to West Texas, he had a collapsible snake hook that was honestly a dangerous piece of crap, but it was one of the ones that like was pen sized that you could put in like a breast pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually helpful for like bending a piece of grass for a photo, or like poking the snake on its side just to get it to kind of move a little for the photography. But again, we didn't use it to lift the snake up per se, but it was still helpful just to have that in a pen pocket.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a perfect solution that I don't think exists.
Yeah, I'm really liking Black's recommendation of fishing rod holder, because I feel like there's some fly fishermen that probably would bring 2 or 3 different rods with them, especially if they're out, in the Northwest somewhere or Alaska. I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I don't fly fish. I don't know, but I can't see myself being out in the middle of nowhere in Alaska and only having one rod just in case something broke or snapped or whatever.
And then I was like, I wonder how long Kydex sheets come in, but it's looking like, because they're not made for long things, they're all pretty that's one that's 12 by 24. I don't know, but you got to deal with the rivets and everything else.
I mean, I have a hand riveter. I think I paid like $12 on Amazon for a bunch of rivets in the hand riveter. You just smack it with a hammer. But my thing with the Kydex would be is, how are you going to keep it from just sliding out?
I haven't gotten that far, Philip.
Okay. All right.
One step at a time, guy.
Now, I will say this. I went herping on a friend's property in North Florida, and he had an ATV that he let me use when I was bombing around. It was not ideal conditions, and I did not find any snakes. However, I did put 2 snake hooks and the M1 tongs in the rifle rack on the front of the ATV, and that thing worked like a son of a bitch. So
I still want a gun rack, but for snake hooks in my car.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't have that already.
I don't know. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack.
Jeez, Wayne.
What is it? It's a gun rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack?
What am I going to do with a gun rack? Do you like licorice?
See, this, if I could find one, these look 3D printed.
Yeah, but that also is a very large diameter.
It is, but I'm saying if I can convince Brahms to like formulate something with a J hook on it.
Yeah. Or honestly, Paul McIntyre, man, he has been 3D printing some crazy shit for me. And dude, he may have something he already made.
Maybe. And that's what I'm talking about. J hook. I mean something that like goes under the bottom of the belt as well, that keeps it from just slipping off.
Right there. There you go. Right there. That yellow thing, the U hook with the yellow tip. So that thing is what construction workers use for their earmuffs. And like air traffic controllers and guys use for their earmuffs, they have that on their belt and it just hooks on.
I have a holster that has exactly what I'm talking about, and I wish I could get a picture of something that fits the bill. Because it works great. Like that holster isn't going anywhere because it's got that bottom lip and that holds on to that belt like a son of a bitch, to where it's almost a pain in the ass to take off.
There's a website that's hold on, Kydex Supplies.
This one's kind of close. Like you see how it has that lip that curls underneath.
Yeah. It's a J hook, man.
Yeah, it's a J hook. There's like when you look J hook.
Okay, go to holstersmith.com. And then scroll down a little bit and you'll see it right up right there. You see right there it says mounting and attachments.
Yep.
There you go.
The letters are real small.
Yeah, they are. And just scroll down and you'll find exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. Drop mount.
So that's for like inside the waistband.
Yeah, that, but outside. Your tears don't fall, they crash around me.
That's what you're listening to right now?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know. It came on. It reminded me of my 9th grade year.
Okay.
Never said it was good.
Okay. Yeah, and honestly, your idea with the J hook is a great idea, but I'm just trying to figure out how you're going to get the holster or how you're going to get the hook to stay attached to a holster. Now, actually, do me a favor. Go in your search bar.
Well, if I was going to have it 3D printed, I would have it all be one unit.
Okay. Go
one thing. It wouldn't be it'd be like a through neck guitar. It'd be just one solid piece.
Okay. How about this? Go to your search bar, type in Yaki holster, YAKI holster. Okay. See how it's just like a bikini?
Yeah, dude. I wear them.
Okay. Do that. You could do that kind of holster, but instead of having one hole for the gun to go through, you have 3 smaller holes for the hook to just slide through. And so
it's like threaded through them.
Yeah, and it just slips through.
But they have the little grip on the end of them on the hook.
That's but you just gotta make it fat enough for the grip to go through.
This looks like those kind of holsters that people accidentally shoot themselves in the leg with.
I mean, it is, but it's old school. I mean,
you know how this story ends.
This is also the guy who he's been using the same holster for 50, 60 years, and the gun's rusted to hell because none of the gun is covered by any kind of material. But I was also thinking of, like on those cowboy belts, they have like the bullet holders.
Yeah.
And like the whole belt is individual bullets. If you got a little piece of that was 3 or 4 of those bullet holes, for lack of a better word, you could just slide a snake hook through that if they were wide enough. Yeah, and Jeff Frederick said it too. Just put the hook in upside down. The only problem with that is I've done that, and I've also stabbed myself in the leg. So I would prefer to have it pointy side up.
Daryl said he just sent me a link. Let me look.
There you go.
For reference, if anyone ever texts me and I don't respond, it's because typically my phone is on like dead silent all the time. Yeah, like doesn't vibrate or nothing.
You're doing a live show. It's understandable.
I'm just saying, like, even when I'm not doing a live show.
It's okay. You just hate us.
Okay.
What do you got?
I don't. Is that magnetic? Oh, no. Okay. I see.
Or honestly, another way to go about it
would be pull this up.
You know how tape measurers have a belt clip on the back? What if you got one of those belt clips like on the back of a tape measurer and you just zip tied it to the back of the handle of the hook? I mean, it's ghetto, but it'd work.
It's not sexy enough.
You're right. It's not. It's not. What you need is a leather roll that is attached to the side of your horse that you can unravel like Lee Van Cleef in for a few dollars more.
it's not necessarily like the handle side up or anything like that. I just want to be able to like, oh, there's a snake. It's moving quick. Grab your hook. Like, whatcha? Harry Potter wand, that shit.
I feel like you just need a scabbard, dude.
That seems too clunky.
Yeah, not if Brahms makes one out of small 3D printed plastic.
Like you could do a tiny version of this, but then I
think is exactly what you're looking for.
Still feel like it would be floating around a lot and like jiggling. And
does that guy have a mini sledge on his belt?
Yeah, he does.
Get the hell out of here.
Carry a hammer, mallet, or hatchet.
Dude, I literally just envisioned Daryl standing there with 2 sledges on either side of his hips.
He said he gonna get you with the hammer.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's good. But I think he got it. I think he won. That was it. Hammer Master, clip-on hammer loop. It's like the turtles in Mario just throwing hammers.
Diamond bag. Toolbelts.com. Here's the other one you sent me. Would you go along with someone?
Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't even think of this. Okay. Go to, after this, I got a website for you. Oh, there you go. Hangman. That's it.
See, I thought this was like it wraps around your leg like Lara Croft Tomb Raider style.
Just thigh straps.
Yeah.
Thigh straps.
Think I won't.
That's cool. Just impact drill, just at the ready. Cordless impact drill. Go to elitesurvival.com. Okay, now go to sorry, I'm looking at the screen. It's very tiny. Is there a search thing?
Yes.
Just type in belly or belly band.
I've already tried this for weight loss. It doesn't work.
Okay, so see the tan one?
Yep, the cummerbund.
The tan one with the blue guns. So that comes in every size of the rainbow. It's elastic and neoprene with Velcro. You could slide the hook through. See how the bottom of the holster for the gun is open?
Yeah.
You could slide the hook through and it would just be there.
But
obviously, what?
How would it be tight enough?
Oh, it's elastic. It would be very tight and it would stay there. And you also have room for a money clip or a wallet or snacks if you want.
Corn dog.
Yeah, man. Nitrate sickle.
Soft pretzels.
Yeah, bring your own mustard. Now, this is
designed. If you're tightening this, that doesn't necessarily mean that this gets tighter.
No, but that is very tight elastic. And even if it does get loose over the years that you use it, who cares? The hole isn't going to get bigger per se. You're just sliding a snake hook through it. Now, the only other thing is
probably some sort of maternity product that does the same thing without the holster aspect that would do the job.
No, but you need the holster to have the pass through.
I mean, if I'm doing that, I might as well just get just an elastic cummerbund and then just slide the hook into that.
Yeah, but how? That's stitched to have a pocket.
I just walk around the woods looking like a dork.
All right. Go back to the Hangman. The Hangman's the winner.
I still think my 3D printed clip thing is the way to go.
Daryl says small finish hammers can't handle the sledges.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, man. For realsies.
Cat, stop, you menace. We can stop. Don't do it. Don't do it, you little punk. He's walking all over my computer. Being a brat. What's the belt got to do with looking like a dork in the woods? It's a mental thing. I don't know. Do you think? I don't know that we need a metal clip though, because if it's just going to clip onto the belt, I don't. This is why I have much smarter people figure these kinds of things out, because I got the idea, but I can't execute. So that's where we're at.
I like it. We're in the right direction.
When I figure it out and patent it and make millions, I'll be the one laughing.
Let's do it. Make it happen, Captain.
Somebody know anybody that can do 3D printing and understand the drawing of a 5-year-old, because that's what they're going to get when I go to prison.
Well, I mean, you got Brahms and you got Paul McIntyre, man. Both of them are snake guys. Both of them are well versed in snake hooks of all different degrees. I'm sure between the two of them, great minds can achieve anything.
Jeff said he prints things pretty often. It would have to be pretty bulky to not snap.
Interesting. Very interesting.
To be continued.
To be continued. I like it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Is there anything else?
No, man, I think we covered a lot.
We did. Sword belt holder.
I believe it's called a sheath.
Sword belt holder.
Or you look up bayonet frog.
It's not going to be anything sexual, is it?
Not a thing. But you know what? While we get the screen open, do it while we're live. Look up bayonet frog.
Get my keyboard.
Crack them knuckles, boy. You finish that punch?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
There you go. So that is the leather attachment that the actual sheath of a bayonet would press fit into. So if you got something like that on your belt, you literally could just slide the snake hook in.
Cat.
There you go. That one right there. Is that British?
There's
no.
One?
Yeah. That's an FAL bayonet. Like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's that. So that black metal, I don't know if it's tin or whatever, comes out with the bayonet, and then you'd have that tan frog there of canvas or leather or whatever the hell that's made of. That is an FAL bayonet, right?
I don't know.
What's it say?
British Enfield spike bayonet frog.
Ah, okay. So yeah, I was close. But yeah, that you could literally use that leather or canvas frog and just slide your snake hook in.
Or that's the same thing you were talking about earlier.
What?
It's a sheath.
No, but no. See, that's not what I'm talking about. I want you to just get the little thing that's like 3 or 4 inches.
Talking about. I'm saying, like, if that's what this is.
No, but
just
the tan part, correct?
Yeah. So wait, is this part of does the bayonet sit in this? Like, this is the sheath?
Yeah. Yes. The black tube, the bayonet, the actual knife itself goes in that black tube. That black tube
attached to this
goes inside the tan leather or tan canvas or wherever the hell it is.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Bayonets are essentially 3 parts: the knife, the sheath, and the frog.
The only problem I see is that it's 2025. And if I wanted to go holstering my hook like a pilgrim, then maybe, just maybe, this is the route I would go. But because we're not discovering a new world like in Pocahontas or something, this is just primitive.
Dude, it works, man. Leathers.
No one uses bayonets anymore, Phil.
Okay, but
get with the times.
I don't want you to use the bayonet. I want you to use just the strap part. Like that right there. There you go.
They'd have to make the holster part tiny.
No, that's exactly perfect. That'll fit the golf grip handle. Slide right through it.
Specifically talking about one for that Viper Series hook.
That should fit right through that.
It would fall right through it.
You're right, and the hook head would keep it in the holster.
Maybe.
You know, when we get off air, I'm gonna have to get a bayonet, and I'm gonna have to show you.
What do you? Why do I want it? Bayonet ain't gonna show me anything.
No, the frog, bro. The frog.
Jeff said, look up a belt holster for a drill. Hook side up. Patrick's bayonet holster was handmade. You can literally get a belt holster for a cordless drill at Lowe's for like $10.
Rob says Velcro straps. Probably the smartest idea so far. Just fucking Velcro.
You guys are overthinking this.
Legit overthinking this. It's half the fun, right?
Oh, that looks like when I had a Glock knife, they had a holster like that for it.
Oh, okay.
A plastic one.
Yeah.
I miss my Glock knife. I never used it for anything. I just had it.
What'd you do with it?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Sold it? I don't know. But regardless, this episode was brought to you by blackboxcages.com. Check it out. Get yourself something nice. Use the code THN25 at checkout. Save a little money. Then hop on over to fulviusapparel.com. Use that code THN. Get 15% off your order. It's the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. And then the code SMOKE at checkout for cold-blooded caffeine. Get the Snakes and Stogies blend and many, many other blend options that they offer, whether it's house blends that they sell that are formulated originally by them, like their original lineup. You can get them there. And then there's the Snakes and Stogies blend. There's a ton of other affiliate blends available as well. So check those out. And we'll be back Thursday. I believe Arachnids is happening. And then I think Flippin' Tin is happening Thursday as well. So another week of doubling down with shows. So
hell yeah.
Keep an eye out for those. Thank you.
Thank you.
See everybody later.
Bye.